Thank you ever so much, Max. Welcome to the booth. Great to be here, as Max said. Taylor Twellman, Adrian Healy, the MLS All-Star Game, always a significant night for the players involved, also for the coaches as well. Consider Caleb Porter, the hometown coach here for the Portland Timbers, coaching the All-Stars tonight. It continues a meteoric rise for Caleb Porter over the last 18 months, Taylor.
And from the outside, it sounds easy. Coach 23 of the best MLS has to offer, but it's not that easy, Adrian. Only 2 days of training and trying to find the right combinations for the players to succeed. Tonight, I think Caleb Porter has done that. Eastler Collin for the second straight year from Sporting KC at center back in front of Nick Raimondo. Parker's Yedlin manning the fullback positions. But then you look at the midfield, more combinations. Cahill and Henry from the New York Red Bulls. Suzy and Bradley from the World Cup team for the United States. And then up front, a combined 17 goals, 9 assists for the Seattle Sounders from Obafemi Martins, Clint Dempsey. They'll lead the attack tonight.
They're going to be loving to play together, aren't they, Martins and Dempsey? Now then, like Caleb Porter, Pep Guardiola entering his second year at the helm of his team. But that's where the similarities end. Guardiola was the most wanted coach in the world after his 4 years with Barcelona. Could have gone anywhere. He chose Bayen. And Taylor, it's going to be fascinating to watch how they continue to evolve under his guidance in his second year.
And Adrian, you talk about that evolution. All preseason long, Pep Guardiola has gone with a three-man back line. Javi Martinez will lead that group tonight. Look out for 17-year-old Godinho in the midfield, a bright prospect for the future. And the guy every Bayern Munich fan has been waiting for, Lewandowski, the modern-day number 9. He can do absolutely everything up front.
I know you in particular are looking forward to Robert Lewandowski wearing a Bayern Munich uniform. Max mentioned it. It continues a trend of MLS teams playing, or MLS All-Star teams playing club teams from Europe, and they don't get any bigger than Bayern Munich. Our Continental Tire Analyst Corner focuses in on that. And the MLS All-Stars performances against European opponents in recent seasons, it's dipped over the last 5 years since your time, Taylor. You were the MVP of the 2005 game against Fulham.
Yeah, that started because it was Fulham, but it started in 2003. We played in LA against Chivas. Listen, does the game mean that much at the end of the day? No, but you can still enjoy it. This is the All-Stars for MLS against arguably the best club in the world, Bayern Munich.
Robert Lewandowski, the wearer of the number 9 for Bayern Munich. How many iconic strikers have worn that very number 9 over the years? And away we go. Bayern Munich going from left to right. And the MLS All-Stars attacking the end where the massed ranks of the Timbers Army normally congregates. Fantastic to be here at Providence Park, the city of Portland, staging its first ever All-Star game in any sport. The MLS All-Stars with just 1 win in the last 5 in this fixture. It was a big one though, that 3-2 victory against the reigning European champions at the time, Chelsea. That game at PPL Park in Philadelphia a couple of summers ago. Of course, a defeat to Roma last year in Kansas City. And that was an occasion in which Francesco Totti just reeled back the years, didn't he? And really put on a show. Parkhurst and Beasley giving Nick Raimondo his first touch of the ball. Michael Bradley, who played in that Roma game for Roma, of course, 12 months ago, making his first start as an MLS All-Star. And Michael Parkhurst, his 4th All-Star appearance, but his first since 2008. Henry operating on the left-hand side, and look what is scrolling across the top of your screen. The Bayen bench, and talk about a power-packed one. All those returning World Cup players, and a lot of them have just returned. Taylor quite literally getting off the plane. We will see quite a few of them later on, perhaps in the second half. Thomas Muller.
Well, Gutsa and Robin brought their suitcases straight from the airplane.
Yeah, they were trundling them in off the coach, weren't they? Here's Roda, one of the new arrivals for Bayern, but a giveaway for Zusi. The available substitutes for the All-Stars. And we'll see, if not all of them, then most of them. And we think probably all of them in the second half at some stage, including Liam Ridgewell, who's only actually played 3 games in MLS. Nice treat for him. He got to step in for Kyle Beckerman, who had to drop out at the last moment. Here's Martins, on to Dempsey, who's offside. Those two have enjoyed playing with each other so much this season. They call it almost pick-up football that they play.
Yeah, but Obafemi Martins has been the biggest reason, in my opinion, why Seattle's in first place in the Supporters' Shield, because he's shown up from the opening game this year, combining with Clint Dempsey, scoring goals, providing assists. It's going to be very interesting to see their combination play up front tonight.
Talking of combination, Lewandowski and Shaqiri trying to get things kick-started. Shaqiri taking over. This is his first start since returning from his summer with Switzerland. Lewandowski, though, has been in the mix right from the start of pre-season and has scored plenty of goals already.
Well, and also a wonderful example of the shrewd business Bayern Munich can get a player of that quality on a free.
Yeah, it's been an interesting summer, hasn't it, business-wise, for Bayern Munich. They've barely spent any money. $12 million on Juan Bernat is sum total of their outlay. Free transfers for Lewandowski, Roda, and Pepe Reina seems to be the latest on his way. They've sold Mario Mandzukic. He's 18 goals. They've gone to Atletico Madrid. Toni Kroos, of course, for Real Madrid. He's on 44 million. But you said it, Pep Guardiola knew he wanted Lewandowski from the day he took over. In fact, before he took over, I think he was targeting Lewandowski.
Well, what we saw last year in Champions League is with Mandzukic, he wanted to roam out wide, Adrian, and not stay central. Lewandowski, yeah, he'll drop into the midfield at times, but he'll stay central. And I think at the highest level for Bayern Munich, they lacked that last year. He gives them that option this year.
Dempsey, no look pass to DeAndre Yedlin. Zusi on the move. Good shielding work from Zusi. Yedlin wants it and gets it. Promise here for the All-Stars. Oh, and Javi Martinez intervened with Tom Stark coming for it. Very encouraging signs, though, for the All-Stars with that blistering attack down the right-hand side. And they're going to try and reignite it here. Zusi. Sharp and crisp soccer being played early on by them. Yedlin. Two conference leading teams, the Sporting Kansas City and Seattle Sounders, providing over half of the MLS All-Star starters, 3 apiece. Bradley's deflected pass falls for Dempsey. Flattering challenge by Cahill, but it's a fair one. And Jair Marufo and the long shots. Well, why not? Just to check that Tom Stark was paying attention.
Good challenge from Tim Cahill. It's very important tonight that him and Michael Bradley are on the same page. Cahill for the New York Red Bulls loves to roam forward, take his chances, and be that third attack. But filling in, sort of, for Kyle Beckerman in the starting lineup, I think it's important that he stays on the right shoulder of Michael Bradley. They have good communication, when to go forward and when to hold their ground.
Cahill, who was picked as an all-star last year in his first year in the league, but then didn't play himself through injury. Thierry Henry had this to say about this game and about Bayern Munich. He said, you know what they're going to do, you know what's going to happen, but they still do it. And he advised his teammates to drink a lot of water. You're going to need it tonight. He's a man who has played against Bayern in his past. As Lewandowski makes waves. Robert Lewandowski, but Nick Rimando able to deny him. Early look at what the Bayern number 9 is capable of. Clever work from Gaudinho, who they are very high on too. Keep an eye on the Bayen number 5 tonight, Gianluca Gaudinho. He's only 17. I thought that Pep Guardiola might be fast-tracking him into the first-team setup. Playing with the under-19s currently. Roda. Wide for Højbjerg. Another youngster. Now Rafinha. Lewandowski! Oh, what about that? Lewandowski hitting the jackpot with an absolutely sensational strike. Stop him if you can.
And Adrian, from opening whistle of preseason, Lewandowski's been extremely dangerous of finding these seams, but it's also his ability to score the tough goals. The first touch sets him up. Yes, it bounces high because of the AstroTurf, but it's the reaction of that ball set up perfectly to hit it first time. How often do we see players maybe take an extra touch in that situation? In the play right before that, Lewandowski stretching the back line. He really is the definition of the modern-day number 9. Can do absolutely anything and everything he wants. 1-0 Bayern Munich.
Power, pace, swerve. And Rimando picking it out of the back of the net. I'm not sure 2 Nick Rimandos would have saved that. After a bright start for the All-Stars, is a rather rude reality check, is it not? This is Højbjerg. Beasler getting things organised at the back. Parkhurst almost found his former New England Revolution teammate, Clint Dempsey. Zusi. Oh, Martins was charging forward. Zusi's ball just falling short of Femi Martins. You have to wonder when you think back to the World Cup this summer, good Femi Martins have helped Nigeria's cause. There are players out there who all scored multiple goals at the World Cup this summer. Clint Dempsey, Tim Cahill and Xherdan Shaqiri. And that's before we get to Bayern's substitutes later on in the second half.
Still confused how Tim Cahill didn't win goal of the tournament.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Here's Alaba. Outside is one of the other new arrivals, Juan Bernat, the Spanish under-21 international. Gaudinho back to Javi Martinez. Rafinha, who played a big part in Lewandowski's goal. He wanted it back, but Højbjerg. Shaqiri skipping around Matt Beasler. Shaqiri piercing the penalty area. The shot was from Claudio Pizarro. And it was goal bound before the block arrived. Dempsey muscling off Alaba. Trying to regain some momentum for the All-Stars, which they had early on. Martins has rekindled it with that steal. Zusi. Cahill thought about starting the climb, couldn't get airborne though. Bayern's trip here to the United States, part of a exercising, growing their brand. They've opened an office in New York City. Played that game against Chivas in New York last weekend. Won by a 0-0.
For this summer tour, Adrian, they traveled 170 plus entourage.
I thought Man City had quite a few with them, but that number dwarfed what Bayen brought.
Well, Ned, you watch them keep possession. Obviously, this is what Pep Guardiola brought to them last year. But this year now with the three-man back line, whether it's a 3-4-3, 3-5-2, I think what he's looking to do is immediately when that ball turns over to overload the midfield, have more pressure, and then also look at the wingers they have. Ribery, Robin, they're on the other side of 30 years old. That may keep them fresher the longer the season goes on.
Yeah. We're seeing other teams starting to go to three at the back, aren't we? Most notably Manchester United and Louis van Gaal. Tactics and formations constantly evolving. It always seems to be a tactic du jour. You know, 4-2-3-1 has been it, hasn't it, for 2 or 3 years, perhaps even longer. More and more teams moving away from that now. Pep Guardiola had started to go with a three-man back line, hadn't he, towards the end of his Barcelona tenure.
My only concern with them going to a three-man back line, how many natural center backs, natural defenders do they have on this roster?
Right, it's a good concern. Ali Martinez playing there tonight. Aurelian Collin. No doubt that he's a natural centre-back. The MLS Cup MVP from last December. His 3rd All-Star appearance in a row. Shaqiri's corner, high and hanging. Coutinho back across. And coolly mocked up by Thierry Henry. Back to Rimando, who just equaled the all-time shutout record, didn't he, for MLS, tying Kevin Hartman's long-standing record. A clean sheet over the weekend.
Well, I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. 35 years old, staying fit. Been a part of the national team for the last 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't be shocked if he's owning that record at the end of his career by 20 or 30.
It's amazing to think Rimando went 9 years between All-Star selections. 2001, wasn't picked again until 2010. This is Shaqiri trying to give Rimando some work. He went down. Cahill, not adjudged to have clipped him. Martin's a willing runner, but he's not going to beat Rafinha in that race. From the look of it, it looks like Cahill got away with one. That's the 2nd time we've seen Shaqiri in tight space turn his defender. We saw that all World Cup long when he was man of the match versus Ecuador, the hat-trick versus Honduras. It's amazing to think last year he didn't even play regularly for this team.
Oh, and a lot of question marks over his future. Transfer rumours swirling all summer long. Liverpool seem quite keen on getting him. Arsenal have been in that picture too. Bayen have categorically denied he's going anywhere. Last time we saw Xherdan Shaqiri, he was coming close for Switzerland against Argentina in that first knockout round game. Højbjerg has done well. Roda with a diving header.
See, this is where Bayern Munich causes problems, Adrian, is they get that ball wide and get it quickly and isolate Michael Parkhurst or DeAndre Yedlin one-on-one, but then it's the second, third, fourth runner into the box that's causing problems for Michael Bradley and Tim Cahill.
Roda, another player snapped up on a free transfer from Eintracht Frankfurt, where he spent 4 years, including 1 year in the second division, helping them get back up to the top flight. Henry leaving Højbjerg on the ground. Good cross too towards Martins. Well, there was the class and the vision of Thierry Henry to full effect.
It's great vision from Thierry Henry. It's better vision from Obafemi Martins, but that's a diving header. You've done everything right of peeling off the back shoulder of the defender. You've got the space, the perfect ball. He has to lay out there. Great ball from Thierry Henry.
Martins, who was in the Fan 11 pick. He was the more than a vote pick, where fans had to score goals with players on the EA Sports FIFA 14 game, and apparently they scored more than 1 million goals with Obafemi Martins, and he got the nod. Zusi, another Fan 11 pick for the All-Stars, as was this man, DeAndre Yedlin. Bradley. Henry's he's going to keep this in. Good cross. Oh, Zusi ghosting in, couldn't connect. Second teasing ball from Henry in as many minutes. Almost paid dividends.
And I'm sitting here shaking my head to think this may be the last time in an MLS All-Star game we see Thierry Henry. 36 years old, and the last 2 balls from Thierry Henry have been world class. Whipped in with pace, but pace enough to get on the end of. It's been fun to watch.
He was all smiles on Monday at the press conference. Really, I think knowing that he's coming to the end, really starting to lap it up. And of course, a reunion for him with the likes of Frank Ribery and his former coach too, Pep Guardiola, who had him for a couple of seasons at Barcelona.
But that's also why, Adrian, excuse me, why the New York Red Bulls have been disappointing to me. For the first summer, you look at their signings over the last 3 or 4 summers. Henry, Marquez, yes, Marquez didn't pan out, I get that. Tim Cahill, Bradley Wright Phillips. It's almost as if right now they're saying, all right, Henry may be retiring. Tim Cahill's 34 going on 35. They're sitting on their hands, it seems that way. While NYCFC stealing all the headlines in New York.
You heard the guys that's talking about state of play at MLS at halftime. Heard that on the ESPN FC show earlier as well. It's one of the mystery stories is what's going on with the New York Red Bulls. Cahill, their only all-star selection alongside Henry. Is it going to be a different approach? And the Red Bulls heading forward. Maybe no more big money DPs. Gaudinho. Here's Bernat. Oh, Colin at full stretch. Had to intervene and just mopped up by Parkhurst. Claudio Pizarro still going strong. At the age of 35, the Peruvian. An absolute Bayen legend too. You look at a lot of the lists of the top 10 strikers ever to wear the Bayen shirt, and Pizarro is included in most of them. Seeing a lot of Sounders players out here tonight. The MLS game of the week returning Sunday on ESPN2 will be just up the road in Seattle at 10:30 Eastern as they take on the Houston Dynamo. Seem to have started their late season surge as they always do. MLS game of the week presented by 5 Hour Energy, also available live on the Watch ESPN app. Should be another huge crowd at CenturyLink Field on Sunday night. This one, of course, sold out months ago. 20,800, just over the capacity, just over 20,800 the capacity here. There are 15,000 season ticket holders here in Portland, and a waiting list of another 10,000.
They had over 19,000 for the NWSL game as well.
Set a new record for that. We had the homegrown game here on Monday night.
This is a little bit better than that game, no?
Well, we've already had a goal, which we didn't have the other night. And what a goal from Lewandowski. But that's because my golfing partner from yesterday, John Kempin, was the MVP at the homegrown game.
Foot golf.
Foot golf, yeah, I should hesitate. And there was no partnership involved either. He was completely carrying me. Henry on to Martins. Arsenal, for all those years he played against Bayern Munich and scored in the Champions League in 2006. Henry scored against them also in the Champions League with Barcelona. That was one of Jurgen Klinsmann's last games in charge with Bayern. Lewandowski. When it comes towards Pizarro, just eluded him. Parkhurst with the safety first, conceding at the corner. Crowd wondering how much they're going to see of Julian Green. 15 goals with the Bayern Munich second team in 23 appearances. Really caught Jurgen Klinsmann's eye, didn't it? And of course what he did over the summer caught everyone else's eye. Obafemi Martins muscling off a couple of Bayern players and a barnstorming run too. Dempsey pushed a little wider and Slally tried that pirouette move that sometimes comes off him, and he's hearing it from the Portland crowd as he has from the moment he stepped on the pitch.
That's actually the same move, Adrian, he tried against Turkey in the send-off series, and he pulled it off.
Yep.
By the way, it's an all-star game. I love the fact that the Portland Timber fans are booing him. I mean, I know he's Seattle Sounders, but it is an all-star game. Why not?
And there's three Sounders players out there, and Dempsey heard it more than any other. Højbjerg, Lewandowski, is he going to keep it in? No, he's not. Midway point of the first half here. Let's go Super 8 on the road. Look at Pep Guardiola's opening second season in charge. They have Borussia Dortmund in the Super Cup, and then a German Cup first round fixture as well. Wolfsburg and Schalke will be the opening two games for them, and that's two teams who finished in the top 5 of the Bundesliga last season.
It was remarkable what they did last year in the Bundesliga, though.
Yeah.
The thing was wrapped up in March.
Yep, 7 weeks to spare, the earliest it had ever been won. If it had been a track meet, they would have started lapping some of the stragglers. Bayern Munich. 19 points was the final margin. They won it actually by even more the season before.
Well, and that was the disappointing thing for me with the Julian Green injury, because that was an opportunity for him to get some first team minutes going into the World Cup.
Julian Green, just the one appearance with the senior team last year, and that was a couple of minutes at the end of a Champions League game. Lots of suggestions that perhaps he would be loaned out this year by Bayern, but they've refuted that, and he refuted it as well. He was asked that question point blank on Monday. We shall see, though. A lot of time left in the European transfer window. Some trickery from Cahill. Henry as the point man, and on it goes to Michael Bradley. Yedlin working on Bernat. Great work from DeAndre Yedlin, and then a fizz cross just too high for Tim Cahill.
Great play from Tim Cahill on the near sideline to get it out wide. But this is why DeAndre Yedlin is being courted by Tottenham, by Roma. His ability going forward in the World Cup was something special. He takes defenders on with pace. His delivery is very good. If he figures out how to defend one-on-one and when to pick those moments to go forward, he's going to be a very special player in the future.
Here he is again. Although those European teams that saw him play in the summer will have noted the fact that he played really as a midfielder.
Well, and there's still teaching moments there for DeAndre Yedlin. You look at the goal from Belgium. Listen, he's going forward. It comes down his side. Those are moments for a young player to learn from.
Now Martins has the beating of Alaba, but not too much on it. He has been full of industry and endeavour in this first half over Femi Martins. Never more than 11 goals in one season for Martins, wherever he's been. He got 11 with Inter in 2005, with Newcastle in 2007. He's on 8 this season for Seattle.
And I think with Clint Dempsey now back from the World Cup, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't finish with 12, 13, 14 goals here.
We'd love to get one in this All-Star game. He's trying to link up with Clint Dempsey once more. Henry arriving. Michael Bradley played all 90 minutes for Roma last year. Kind of in the position that Julian Green is in this year, being the US international on the foreign opponents he was a year ago. Yedlin. DeAndre Yedlin for Zusi. They've played some attacking football at pace, have the All-Stars at times in this first half. Cahill and Højbjerg getting into it a little bit. It's an indication of just how the competitive juices are flowing, even though it's a, in inverted commas, a friendly. Every weekday, ESPN FC is on your screens, on ESPN News at 6 o'clock. Highlights, opinions from our top team of pundits, focus on all the top teams and leagues around the world. After the game tonight, actually, you have a special edition of ESPN FC, almost like an all-star game post-game show. That's at midnight on ESPN2, Eastern time. Dempsey and Henry, and the passes together. And Martins almost squeezed it through to Dempsey, who continued his run. Good spell this for the All-Stars, but can they capitalize? We've lost some big names from those originally selected due to a combination of injury and scheduling problems. As Dempsey's on the move, Dempsey! Well, Henry teed it up perfectly for Dempsey, who didn't have to break stride, but Tom Stark was equal to Dempsey's effort.
So fun to watch. So fun to watch to see Henry pick up his head. But watch the run from Clint Dempsey. He's going to peel over his shoulder and, like Lewandowski did for Bayern on the other end, hit this first time. But it's all set up from the ball over the top from Henry, but a better run from Clint Dempsey to give him the option to hit that first time. Well done.
It was exactly a year ago that he returned to MLS. As he's on the end of Zusi's corner.
I remember us on air last year in Sporting KC looking at our phones at halftime saying, wait a minute, what?
Something big is happening.
Clint Dempsey's going where?
Yeah. Well, the MLS Rookie of the Year in 2004, Clint Dempsey. And it's that time of year, isn't it, Taylor? Rumours are flying, and seems to be more of it this year than any previous year I can remember. A lot of the US national team is a part of that.
But don't you think that started since Clint Dempsey came back?
Yeah.
Because then it was Michael Bradley, and whether it's DeAndre Yedlin, who looks very highly likely to be leaving Seattle, but he'll stay here in Seattle in 2014, looking at probably going to Tottenham.
Lewandowski's offside here. What about players coming back to MLS and the rumors that are circulating at the moment?
Surprising. I'm putting my hand up right now. Surprising that the mixed Disco deal looks like it's fallen through for Columbus Crew for whatever reason, whether or not his father had some other things that he wanted in the deal. But I very surprising to me, because hearing what the money was offered, double what he's making in Norway. Columbus Crew owners offering a good contract like that.
Yep.
And then obviously tomorrow there's a news conference from LA Galaxy. Looks like it's going to be
Sasha
Sasha
Kljestan. Only mean one thing, can't it?
Yep.
Sasha Kljestan heavily linked with a move to the West Coast. And of course we got the Jermaine Jones saga as well, which continues to drag on.
He's watching this game with Charlie Sheen right now. Did you see the picture on Instagram?
I did see it.
Or no?
I did see it. Here's Højbjerg. Oh, and he went for the near post. Ramondo, though, wasn't going to let him squeeze it in there.
This is so good from Nick Ramondo, because he's got to see this through Matt Besler. Nick Ramondo, throughout his entire career, has had great reflexes in those types of situations. It's a good job of covering that near post.
Second one, watch the one up top.
Career that stretches some 360 starts in MLS. Shaqiri's corner! And Lewandowski certainly got a piece of it. Quite the header he wanted. Armando. Oh, Parkhurst caught in an awkward moment by Højbjerg. Højbjerg is a 19-year-old Danish international who's already made his debut for the Danish national team. Did so just before the World Cup in May against Sweden. Gaudinho feeding it through. Lewandowski. Yedlin did well. And a little dancing from Lewandowski. Yedlin not impressed, apparently. In it comes. Cohen able to get it away. When you look at the Bayern Munich squad in total, their players contributed 18 goals to the World Cup in Brazil, far more than any other club team around the world. Barcelona were next with 10. Zusi and Yedlin tidying that up. Cahill down by his club teammate Henry. Zusi. Yedlin, who had Caleb Porter, the All-Stars coach, as his college coach for a couple of years at Akron. And Zusi would love to have that back. Promising position he'd found as well, but the feet went from underneath him. So glad you could be with us here on ESPN2 for the 2014 MLS All-Star game, and so much to enjoy already in the first 35 minutes or so. Plenty of enterprising football. They're playing like they mean it out there. Not always the case with pre-season friendlies. Michael Bradley. The only representative from the Canadian clubs in MLS, Michael Bradley. Only here from Montreal. Likewise from Vancouver.
Jermaine Defoe was supposed to be here, but he's out 2 to 3 weeks due to a groin strain.
Now, Pep Guardiola talking in fairly detailed terms there to Julian Green. Yeah, it's a real blow for Toronto, isn't it? And Michael Bradley with Defoe out for that length of time. They've had a rough patch recently too, got it together against Montreal last time out. Here's Zusi. Martins trying to get underneath this. Cahill too. Another header he doesn't like.
But you watch the ideas from Obafemi Martins and Clint Dempsey. You didn't see that whatsoever last year when those two were playing together.
It took a while, didn't it? In fact, it really didn't click at all. This time last year is where it started to go wrong for the Seattle Sounders. The chemistry was seemingly all messed up, and we are not going to have to wait till the second half, folks, to see Julian Green, because he is going to come on for Claudio Pizarro right now. What a thrill for the 19-year-old. The youngest scorer at this summer's World Cup. And when you consider some of the names who've had that honor in previous World Cups, Pelé, Michael Owen, Lionel Messi, and then Thomas Muller. No pressure there, Julia.
Pep Guardiola just gets it, doesn't he? What a classy move to bring him in before halftime by himself in front of the Portland Timbers, the U.S. national team fans. What a cool moment.
Julian Green, who only turned 19 in June. Chance to go up against some of his US national teammates that he shared such a memorable summer with, and this was Green's moment that rekindled that game against Belgium. And
his first touch, Adrian. His first touch. And I love people on Twitter telling me he didn't hit it correctly. He scored in the World Cup on his first touch, by the way. And you got that moment that, you know what, the US is still in this game. And then the free kick they almost pulled off at the end of that game would have been something special.
Here's Shaqiri. He's allowed to go a long way, Shaqiri, who his fine moments of the World Cup too. Shaqiri arriving! Oh! Well, call the cops, because that was daylight robbery from Nick Rimando, denying Shaqiri.
Well, and the understanding from Shaqiri and Lewandowski. Lewandowski pulls out wide, but then he picks up his head as that second run near post. How about this save from Nick Rimando? You want to know why he's got MLS all-time 112 shutouts? That right there.
Little curler, and the danger ends. Fan 11 selection too was Nick Rimando.
He's never been MLS goalkeeper of the year.
Well, that's stunning, as was the 9 years without an all-star selection referenced earlier. He's in his 4th all-star overall now. The US number 3 in Brazil. Now Zusi with room to roam. Bradley eager to join him. Yedlin just about able to keep it in. Cahill. It's about 2 years to the day almost since Tim Cahill arrived on these shores. Started playing with the New York Red Bulls after his storied career with Everton. Almost the first backward movement we've seen all game long. It's the All-Stars just try and consolidate some possession here. Colin has to arrive quickly. Good clearance though, right to the foot of Dempsey. Martins, on it goes. Cahill. Playing the hold up. Oh, Yedlin. Oh, he just ghosted through one challenge. And hunts it down too. Bradley, first time cross. In towards Martins and Dempsey. Henry picking up the pieces. Henry! Oh! So close. And he's claiming it took a deflection. So are half his teammates.
The 36-year-old is putting on a show tonight. His decision-making in the final third is touch to watch the touch to set himself up for this. I mean, in how many situations like that do you see players rush? Look how calm he is. And that was 100% a deflection.
Yep. Well, I said it the other night. He looks to me, Taylor, as if he could play another 3 or 4 years, especially in this deeper role that he's taking on with the Red Bulls. Here's Bernat, near post towards Shaqiri. Colin, though, relishing the battle back there.
Adrian, just look at the players around Thierry Henry in his New York Red Bull career and how many goals they've scored. Look at the players.
Yep.
Kenny Cooper, Fabian Espindola, Luke Rogers, and now this year, Bradley Wright Phillips. When you play with a guy like that and you're a goal scorer, you know, just get open, he'll find you. He'll put you in situations to put the ball in the back of the net.
Sure, we will see Bradley Wright Phillips in the second half. The leader in the Golden Boot race in MLS, just past the halfway stage of the season. Here's Julian Green getting on the ball. Switching flanks to Højbjerg. Rafinha. Sebastian Aroda. Shaqiri. A lot of space wide here for Bernat. No beating Yedlin, though. Yedlin's got the better of that duel in both penalty areas thus far. Aldinho just oozes class, doesn't he, with every touch. Højbjerg. Working on Parkhurst, Højbjerg. It's the subtle cross, almost as if he was wearing slippers, that touch, but no trouble for Armando. Give away. Roda latching onto it. Julian Green! Now, what a moment that would have been for him. Nick Rimando had other ideas. Dempsey hassling and harrying from the front, trying to make life awkward. Gaudinho has a very famous father. His father Maurizio won the Bundesliga with Stuttgart just over 20 years ago. A team that also contained Matthias Sammer, who's now the sporting director here at Bayen. Shaqiri! Now still no bliss for the Swiss. Rimando again with other ideas.
We sure this isn't US-Belgium and that's Tim Howard?
It's beginning to look like it, isn't it?
Okay.
Having World Cup flashbacks all around it. Lewandowski giving away to Henry, trying to dig it out from under his feet. Waves his apologies in the direction of Martins, who was already off and sprinting. Final minute of the first half. Bernat, some space this time. Green couldn't connect. Stay with us at halftime. Max, Alexi, Casey and Alejandro will go fast and fluid around MLS, talking about the most important stories of the first half of the season. They'll also discuss how MLS can continue to grow after the World Cup, the fight to keep soccer fans watching the league. It's our fast and fluid halftime show with Max Bretos leading the crew. Fascinating first half to watch, with the pendulum swinging both ways. Lewandowski shining bright with his early strike. Well, that will do it. Lewandowski, the only man to find a way past Nick Rimando. Xherdan Shaqiri has certainly been trying to do so, but Rimando has denied him not once but twice. Shaqiri, the Swiss maestro, on the move. Rimando, all changed for Caleb Porter with one exception. Thierry Henry is still out there, but the other 10 players have been changed. Liam Ridgewell, Franklin, Edu and Boswell at the back.
So who won the argument at halftime, Thierry Henry or Caleb Porter?
Well, Porter said he was going to change all 11, didn't he? But he's only changed 10. Henry, in what could be his last All-Star appearance, is still out there, and it means that Landon Donovan is not yet on the pitch for the All-Stars. We expect that to change very shortly.
And Dom Dwyer as well, but keep in mind, Landon Donovan has a game Friday night against San Jose. I wouldn't expect him to play too long tonight.
Well, that was a big part of the reason that Robbie Keane and Omar Gonzalez are not here. LA playing San Jose on Friday. The other players lost to this All-Star game. Chad Marshall, his injury still keeping him out of the Seattle lineup. Wayne Defoe, you mentioned, and Kyle Beckerman. Diego Valeri will be relishing this, the hometown Portland Timbers schemer, getting his first touch. Good track back as well by Sean Franklin. Interesting dynamic in the middle of the park now, isn't it? Ozzy Alonso on the ball now, will be alongside Will Johnson. Taylor, and as you pointed out, those two, quite a feisty history between the two of them. They're very similar players. And that Seattle-Portland rivalry boiling over at the tail end of last season. 3 Portland Timbers out there now for the home team crowd. Valeri, Will Johnson and Liam Ridgewell. Ridgewell, the late replacement for the ailing Kyle Beckerman. And listen to the reception now as Thierry Henry departs the scene. This could be the last time we see him leave as an MLS All-Star.
Fitting he's replaced by Landon Donovan.
Yeah. What a classy move all around as a class act, or one class act disappears and another takes his place. Landon Donovan taking part in his 14th consecutive All-Star. The last time he didn't play in an All-Star game, Taylor, you were playing against him in the lower divisions of Germany as Bradley Wright Phillips makes wave.
Yeah, his career turned out a little different than mine.
Well, you were following a similar path there for a while.
No, but when you look at it, and I know it brought up some concerns on Twitter from fans that Landon Donovan's in the All-Star game, but listen, Derek Jeter was in the Major League Baseball All-Star game this year. It's an All-Star game. There's a reason why he's on the Fan 11 every year. He's earned the right to be here.
Hasn't scored in an All-Star game since 2002, despite being the joint top scorer all time. He scored 4 in his debut as a 19-year-old. That was the famous Brandy Chastain type celebration he came out with. That was all the way back in 2001. Alonso fending off the attentions of Gaudino. As you mentioned, it leaves just Dom Dwyer now as the only MLS All-Star yet to enter. Here's Javi Martinez, just the one appearance for Spain this summer. In their defeat to Chile. Gaudino forward to Julian Green. Juan Bernat, signed from Valencia over the summer, 3 years there. Increasing the Spanish contingent in Munich with Pep Guardiola. Javi Martinez and Thiago is the other, still working his way back from the injury that curtailed the end of his season. Bobby Boswell back in the All-Star game. Now Bradley Wright Phillips on the move. Wright Phillips! Oh! That is sensational! It's what he's been doing all season long, and now he does it on the biggest stage. The Golden Boot leading scorer with a magical moment.
The biggest difference this year for Bradley Wright Phillips is his starting points. So often last year for the New York Red Bulls, he was in wide positions. This year, talking with Mike Pecky, he has stayed central within the width of the 18, and there is a reason why he's leading MLS in goals. That is an absolute wonderful finish, but it's the first touch. Watch the first touch from Bradley Wright Phillips. Sets himself up perfectly, now have a hit. Last year, he's taken an extra touch. He's too far wide. Great finish from Bradley Wright Phillips.
Well, we have seen 2 goals at the very, very highest quality here tonight. If anything, Bradley Wright Phillips might have been even a little better. Teed up, wasn't he, by Eric Kubo Torres with a nice flick-on header. Now danger at the other end with Bayen on the move. Alonso's tackle was deemed to be a fair one. Roof Tifo has really let this game flow tonight. The referee out there in his second All-Star game.
We've seen 2 goal scorers goals, haven't we,
Yep.
Adrian?
One from the number 9, one from the number 99. Wright Phillips has started to attract a lot of attention back in English football for his scoring exploits here. Other clubs perhaps wondering whether they might have missed the boat on him. He's 29. Scored a lot of goals in League One and the Championship, the second division of English football, over the years.
I just think he's been extremely strong with his movement this year, but also smart. Last year when he came over, he was roaming in the corners. He wasn't that's Thierry Henry's job. That's Tim Cahill, Eric Alexander for the New York Red Bulls, Boyd Sam. Get in the middle, get in the 18, and score goals. And that's what he's done for Mike Pecky and the Red Bulls this year.
18 and counting, and we saw Chris Wondolowski set the record, didn't we, a couple of years ago with 27. I wonder whether that is within his range. Julian Green, hit by a man who didn't make the US national team squad, Maurice Edu, on the ball. First All-Star appearance for Edu since his return. He's helped an ever-improving Philadelphia Union team. They're a club who've made a couple of big acquisitions in the last few days. Rayson Bowley, the Algerian World Cup goalkeeper, on his way to Philadelphia. Returning, Carlos Valdez. I think that could be a team to watch in the stretch run. They have a sign, the Red Bulls fans, don't they? BWP, the scoring machine.
But Adrian, I'm talking about playing within the width of the 18. You see both center backs here from Bayern. Right here is our telestator screwed up here a little bit, but you look at Bradley Wright Phillips, he stays central. So then he can react to that little ball over the top and make sure he's in the right spot. And that man right there, there's a reason why he's got 10 assists. It's because Bradley Wright Phillips has been getting on the end of it.
What a smile from Thierry Henry. Eric Torres, give him some credit as well, as he flicked on that header perfectly. The young Mexican striker who's been scoring goals by the hatful as well for Chivas USA. He was one of the commissioner's picks. Here he is on the ball. Commissioner Don Carver, traditionally getting to pick 2 players for this All-Star game. He picked Torres and Diego Valeri, who's now on the ball. Wright Phillips chases on for Franklin. Got the cross in. Was that handball from Donovan? It wasn't. Liam Ridgewell now. Wright Phillips. Torres couldn't take it on. More enterprising football from the All-Stars, who've really come out taking the game by the scruff of the neck, haven't they, at the start of this second half. A completely fresh team as well. Valeri has overcooked that. Hoiberg, who played in the German Cup final at the end of last season against Dortmund. He had a birthday yesterday, Pierre-Emile Hoiberg, turned 19. Talk about Bayern's dominance in the Bundesliga. Since they went to 3 points for a win in most European leagues, so roughly the mid-1990s, The largest winning margin in any major European league in what Bayern have done in the last 2 seasons. They had 7 players in the World Cup final for Germany. 6 started, and the substitute Mario Götze scored. Toni Kroos has since moved on. Only the Czech team in 1934 had more from one club than Germany did in Brazil.
I can watch that goal over and over and over again from Götze. The way he started in a wide position, read the, great ball from Schürrle to hit it first time. Wow.
Yeah. What a way to win a World Cup.
You're in your backyard as a kid dreaming of those moments, and Götze just lived it for all of us.
Ozzy Alonso. Second All-Star appearance for him. He was part of the team that beat Chelsea in 2012. Back heel, that was from Valeri. Franklin is on his way. Now we have a moment. Let's go to Monica Gonzalez, who has Kyle Beckerman alongside her. Monica.
Well, Kyle, you've had some time now since the World Cup, not too much time to rest. But what have you taken out of just the whole experience since you've been back?
I mean, really, it's just the belief that we can play. You know, we can get to that big stage where the stakes are highest, and we're able to perform, and we're able to give ourselves a chance to win every game. And I think brought back a lot of confidence, some sharpness, and just hoping that it would be contagious for the team.
Now, I know fans were disappointed that you weren't able to play in the All-Star game tonight, but how much do you think it's on the minds of these players that tonight is an opportunity to make a statement? Yeah,
it is, absolutely. I mean, we're always trying to grow the game. We're always trying to gain respect in Europe and in South America, and it just so happens that these type of games are the ones that the scoreline is read throughout the world. So it's important for us to show well in these games.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, you bet.
Back to you guys.
Kyle Beckerman, who was selected for this All-Star game, unable to play though. Approaching the hour mark at Providence Park, a packed house in Portland. Couldn't get a ticket for Love No Money. 19th edition of the MLS All-Star game. Juan Bernat.
At what point, Adrian, does Kyle Beckerman get a new contract?
Well, he must be thinking or asking the same question. Seen those around him in the US midfield being rewarded handsomely. Maldinho going down under pressure from Eric Kubo Torres. He's already scored the most goals by a Mexican-born forward ever in MLS history, Eric Torres. You have to call him Kubo, really, don't you? 14 of them this season, 21 in all. It's been the shining light for Chivas USA in many of those in recent years. Bernat. Approaching footsteps. Maurice Edu was warned of Shaqiri's arrival. Now Landon Donovan. Donovan. Inside to Johnson. We talked about you coming up against Landon Donovan in German lower division football. Before we get to that, Dante is going to come on. A man whose only World Cup appearance was one he'd rather forget, I'm sure, the 7-1 hammering that Brazil took at the hand of Germany. Dante was on for Thiago Silva in that semi-final. He comes on here. And there's going to be a goalkeeping change too. Manuel Neuer. Has there ever been a more clear winner of the Golden Glove award at a World Cup than the performances Manuel Neuer produced for Germany?
You could have made the argument he was the best player at the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. 23 clean sheets in 52 Germany appearances. Amazing to think that fans in Bavaria were actually slow to warm to Neuer when he first made the move from Schalke. Now then, Valeri. Take your hats off to the All-Stars. The enterprising football is just continuing. But here's Shaqiri. Bernat. $12 million he cost Bernat from Valencia. Bayen's only money spent this summer. Ozzy Alonso is penalised for scything down Shaqiri, and there's a booking.
I'm not sure Ozzy Alonso knows the idea of a friendly. But if there was one criticism I had of Alonso, it's challenges like these. He puts his teammates in difficult positions, and that's exactly what Pep is talking about right now with the MLS All-Stars bench. He's having this discussion right now.
Caleb Porter backing off. But
I have absolutely no problem with Pep arguing this right now, because throughout the entire game, what would it be, 64 minutes into the game, Adrian, there hasn't been any silly challenges, any stupid challenges, and then Alonso comes in a situation like that. You want Alonso on your team is what I'm saying, but at times he puts his team in a predicament because of challenges like that.
Well, the knock on him, Taylor, is he'd get booked if he was playing a chess match, let alone a soccer game. But he's that sort of fiery competitor, so he can't really dial it down.
Eric! Charles!
Free kick here. Oh, and it's Alaba. Touch over the top from Bill Hamid, who's had nothing to do since replacing Nick Rimando at half-time. Bill Hamid, the DC United stopper. To make sure, didn't he? The shot may just have been clearing the crossbar, but Hamid couldn't take any chances. Shaqiri with the corner. Maybe half flicked away. Rafinha, the Austrian international. Alaba. Signs that Bayen are starting to dial it up a notch or two in the second half.
Well, and I've been in these situations, Adrian. It's a challenge like that it gets your blood boiling.
Good run from Julian Green. Shaqiri trying to pick him out. Hamid. Bill Hamid, who was one of the first homegrown signings back in 2009, the DC United keeper. First homegrown signing to make 100 appearances for his side as well. And the youngest goalkeeper to do so in MLS history.
What a turnaround DC United under Ben Olsen have had this year. And a big part of that is Bill Hamid.
It's one of these stories of the year, isn't it?
And I think the other two All-Stars on the field now for DC United deserve their credit. I think Bobby Boswell has matured as a defender. You know, in talking with Ben Olsen, he said doesn't get caught in those chases anymore. He reads the game much better. And then Sean Franklin has given them a lockdown defender in wide areas. How often last year when you were watching DC United getting burned in those areas, Sean Franklin's helped solidify that right fullback position.
Yeah. Two very astute pickups indeed from Ben Olsen. Here's Will Johnson. To Alonso. Franklin, who had 6 years with the Galaxy before moving on. Second All-Star appearance for him. He played in 2011. The All-Stars were crushed in New Jersey by a rampant Manchester United that night. Very different night here in Portland. The All-Stars in consecutive All-Star games lost heavily to Manchester United. And that had some wondering about this format. The defeat to Roma probably added to those questions last year, Taylor. But this has been a really credible performance through 3/4 of the game.
But how long does this continue, Adrian? I'll tell you one All-Star game I would love to see. MLS All-Stars against Liga MX All-Stars.
Interesting. I'll come back to that because Green has delivered this. Bernat continued his run and close to getting on the end of it. It's stolen back by Alaba. Well, only once have they played Mexican opposition. That was all the way back in 2003, wasn't it? Chivas of Guadalajara. If the Mexican League could be talked into putting together an all-star team.
Could you imagine?
That'd be really something. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the natural history between U.S. and Mexico, and then you get the struggles MLS has had in CONCACAF Champions League. It'd be fun to watch.
The 2014 AT&T MLS All-Star Game brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Focus is the feeling of clarity and alertness. It's the feeling you get from 5 Hour Energy. And by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And also by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Those folks have been mobilized, haven't they? Got the perfect vantage point.
Is that where Alexi, Alejandro, and Casey are?
It should be if they go 86. What a great viewpoint. High above Providence Park. Great ball that is for Donovan. Landon Donovan has done it. Against the side he played for in 2009, Landon Donovan becomes the solo all-time leading goal scorer in MLS All-Star games. His first goal since 2002. And the All-Stars have come from a goal down to lead 2-1 against Bayen.
And what the Timber fans in this stadium have come to love is the delivery from Diego Valeri like this. You've got Torres, you've got Bradley Wright-Phillips. This is what Landon Donovan has made a career out of, as being that second and third attacker. But that ball from Diego Valeri is ridiculous. You give him the time and space, he'll deliver it on a dime. Well done from Landon Donovan, controlling his body and putting it in the back of the net.
Yeah, against the team he played for and the team he lasted about 10 weeks with, Bayern Munich, back in 2009. What a moment for Donovan, who I think is going to depart the scene immediately here because he's got his goal. He has a game to play on Friday night. And so Dom Dwyer, also in the hunt for the Golden Boot, is going to come on. Donovan, I always say, timing is everything. He's timing his exit to perfection here.
That's the only time you'll see Caleb Porter excited that Landon Donovan scored a goal.
Yeah, it's all those conference rivalries to be put to one side for one night only. So now, what about this? We've got Dwyer, Wright, Phillips, and Torres all out there, all leading, the 3 leaders in the race for the MLS Golden Boot. What a thrill for Dom Dwyer, who it looked like was going to be overlooked for this MLS All-Star game. It would have been an injustice for many people. Is Bernat. Bayen stung into an immediate response, and they've won a corner. Forward come the big guns from the back, including Dante. It's a great delivery, and Boswell got a piece of it. Bill Hamid has more than a piece. Bobby Boswell, who was the MLS Defender of the Year all the way back in 2006. And that was his first spell with DC United. Valeri. Boswell onto Dwyer. Couldn't quite walk the tightrope there, keep the ball in play. And that goal has edged him above Brian McBride to solo possession of the all-time leading scorer in All-Star games. Is there anything not the all-time leading scorer in connected with US soccer?
When you see Caleb Porter standing up on the sideline right now, with Dom Dwyer coming into this game, he's moved the MLS All-Stars into a 4-2-3-1. Dom Dwyer up front, Diego Valeri now moving inside, playing underneath Dom Dwyer.
Manuel Neuer, after all those clean sheets in Brazil, beaten just a few minutes after coming on for Bayern Munich in his return to action. Also one of those who literally just got off the plane, Taylor. The MLS Game of the Week will be coming your way on Sunday right here on ESPN2. Hope you can join us. This should be a good one. Seattle looking to get back on track after a couple of defeats. The Houston Dynamo look like they're in the mood to start their traditional late season surge. We'll have it for you on Sunday at 10:30 Eastern right here on ESPN2. Presented by 5 Hour Energy. A lot of the Timbers army here amongst the crowd. This All-Star game, and they have been in fine voice. The chase is on here for Kubo Torres, not going to get there. Caleb Porter, 2013 MLS Coach of the Year, a record-setting turnaround here with the Timbers, but a follow-up act has been difficult, hasn't it?
It really has. Speaking with Caleb Porter, it's been the hardest year, he says, in his coaching career because he's had to figure out how to lose. Started 0-3-5, but he also is always positive. There are only 3 points with 12 games left, but he referenced Ziggy Schmidt, Bruce Arena, Dominic Kinnear, Peter Vermees, Jason Kreis as being role models on how to deal with ups and downs. In MLS, he's learned that you're going to be successful if you figure out how to deal with those at a much better rate than he has in the past. And I think this year's been very difficult. They've given up twice as many goals at this point as they did last year, Adrian.
Yeah. But, as you said, just 3 points outside of a playoff place, and still plenty of games to put that right. It's Bayen trying to put the situation right here. Shaqiri will give this a go, and didn't test Hamid in the way he tested Raimondo in the first half. Ivan Shaqiri, who scored a hat-trick for the Swiss in Manaus, game against Honduras, and then came so close to scoring against Argentina in the first knockout round game. Finds playing time difficult to come by, though, in a crowded Bayern midfield. The NWSL continuing also on ESPN2 next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We'll have the Western New York Flash against Sky Blue FC. That game in Rochester, Wednesday 7 on ESPN2, so live on the Watch ESPN app. Lucky enough to call the game here on Sunday night, which was a tremendous affair between the Thorns and the Dash. Torres to Dom Dwyer. Looking service. Oh, and Dante touched it on. In the end, touched it behind, but it was Wright Phillips who was crashing in. The two diminutive English strikers looking to hook up. And now Valeri. And the reception he's getting as he goes across to the far side. He's been such a visionary in his time with the Timbers. Torres! But Neuer is there to claim. Shaqiri with the cross. Oh, and Hamid did brilliantly to deny Bernat. All of a sudden, the cross right into the stride of Juan Bernat, who hit it full-blooded. And Hamid able to keep it out.
And Bayern Munich defending the set piece, but then they're out on the break, and Shaqiri realizes that Lewandowski can't get there, so he picks up his head, delivers a great ball for Bernat to hit this first time, and a big-time save from Bill Hamid here. So difficult to hit this. Great form, good technique, in a better spot from Bill Hamid.
Now then, talk about some power-packed substitutions about to happen. This is, I don't know if there's any, this may be some history, Taylor. How many World Cup winners are we going to see come onto the pitch in one fell swoop here? We've got Philipp Lahm, Thomas Müller, Mario Götze, and Bastian Schweinsteiger. 4 of them. And Diego Contento is also in the mix. This is a remarkable moment you're witnessing. A lot of these players, remember, literally arrived in Portland either last night or this morning, depending on where they're coming from. Try and tidy up who they are replacing. Schweinsteiger has found Alaba here. So all those World Cup winners. Taylor, as I mentioned earlier, Bayen provided 18 World Cup goals to this summer in Brazil. He had 5 of them. Thomas Müller.
2 World Cups, 10 goals in 2 World Cups. And when you look at the German side, yeah, we're talking about Bayern Munich here and their depth. I think Germany won the World Cup because their depth was greater than anyone else.
Mario Götze, of course, got the most important goal of all, didn't he? Off the bench in the final. Becoming one of only 57 players who've ever scored in a World Cup final. Julian Green has departed the scene. What a thrill for him. Verdict, Taylor, on Julian Green's performance tonight?
He had a good chance in the first half. Nick Raimondo came up with a big-time save. I think it's a big year for Julian Green. You have a moment like that as scoring on your first touch in a World Cup. Bayern Munich making the decision for him not to go on loan. I think this is a big 12 to 18 months for Julian Green.
Dwyer was on the move, but Philipp Lahm quickly across to intervene. Götze it was who officially replaced Green. Müller for Lewandowski. Lahm for Roda. Schweinsteiger for Gaudinho, just to complete that picture. Schweinsteiger. They're asking for handball, and they're going to get it. Coming up after the game, don't go anywhere. ESPN FC will be on your screens. It'll act as a post-game show here to the MLS All-Star game. Midnight Eastern, the official start time. ESPN2 and the Watch ESPN app. Here's Will Johnson. The MLS All-Stars leading the German champions by 2-1. Here's Alaba. Racing into the middle to meet his cross. Dwyer across in the face there. The Austrian international Alaba. Right, Phillips did well to haul it in. And the Portland crowds, sure you can hear them loud and clear. Such an inspiration for the sides that play in front of them. Normally it's the dark green clad Portland Timbers. And 3 Timbers out there at the moment as part of this effort for the All-Stars. There's never been a hometown player who's scored in an MLS game since Brian Ching did so in Houston in 2010. Lam. Now Valeri. Dante all over Torres. Schweinsteiger. A couple of years for him. He was so often the nearly man, Schweinsteiger. So many defeats in finals. It's all changed in the last couple of years. A Champions League winners medal and a World Cup winners medal.
He was so good in the final, Adrian. He was so good at just running the show, breaking up anything from Argentina in the middle. I thought Boateng was very good in the final.
Yeah.
When they moved, when Jogi Löw moved Lam to right back, it changed the complexion of Germany in the World Cup.
Be very interesting to see what Pep Guardiola does with Lam this year, won't it? Playing more as a defensive midfielder. Last year for Bayen. Now then, Muller on the move. Franklin trying to hunt him down, and Franklin did enough. We're going to see another man who went the distance in the World Cup. Come on, Ian Robben. He had to settle for playing in the third place game, but his World Cup went as long as his German teammates. On comes Robben to replace Alaba. Will Johnson thumping the clearance right into the face there of Philipp Lahm.
And Adrian, for those at home watching the game wondering where Ribéry is, the game's on artificial surface.
Yeah.
Missing the World Cup with a back injury. We didn't see him yesterday, we didn't see him today.
Yeah, Ribéry's been obviously a part of the preseason so far for Bayern. It's actually their 6th game already in preseason. Ribéry's back injury keeping him out of the World Cup.
He's healthy, I think it's just more precaution.
Yeah. Now Muller looking to climb. Franklin is able to get the better of it. Muller fighting back. Surging run this from Ozzy Alonso. Great stuff from Torres too. Dwyer Options in the middle. Dwyer on that left foot of his. Dwyer going for goal. He tried to beat Neuer at the near post and just dragged it wide. And that turbocharged counter-attack from the All-Stars. Torres. Dante getting the better of that. Now then, Goethe. Muller. Goethe and Muller. Still Muller. Muller! That's their first football since that night in Rio.
I can watch Thomas Muller play every single night. If I have an under 11 or an under 12 team right now, I'm just watching his movement. I'm taking every attacking player, my team, a young team, and just watch Muller consistently a threat, running off the back shoulder, checking two, receiving possession at his feet, dangerous all game long, and when he gets in the final third, he makes the right decision. Adrian, his first goal was in the World Cup in 2010. He's got 10 goals in 2 World Cups.
He's already equal fourth all time for Germany, behind only Klose, Gerd Müller and Jürgen Klinsmann. Pep Guardiola, who has already won an astonishing amount of trophies as a coach.
Well, we saw this with Alonso's challenge in the first, at the beginning of this second half. It was a nasty challenge. Pep had a problem with that. This is a little late from Will Johnson coming in, and then you see the interaction from Pep and Caleb Porter.
Johnson and Alonso just can't dial it down, can they? Nor would you expect them to, really, in mid-season form. And this is the difference, Taylor. Mid-season form versus pre-season. Yes, it's a friendly, but they want to make a mark in this game.
Well, of course they do.
And Pep not happy with the way they're going about their business.
But what we don't know, and what the viewer doesn't know, was there a conversation from Caleb Porter and Pep Guardiola?
Right.
I mean, you saw Caleb immediately look at Pep and wave his hands up and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There may have been a conversation of saying, let's just play, let's put on a show for the fans and stay away from any challenges. You can tell the players all you want, but the moment the blood gets going and the game gets going, instincts take over.
Final minutes. And the All-Stars hang on here. They're going to have a free kick to defend. It was a loose touch from Will Johnson. He hauled down his man as well, Jerome Boateng. And Pep continues to sieve on the sideline, as does Tom Stark, the backup goalkeeper, who's saying his piece. Now then, Mario Götze has grabbed the ball here.
We saw in the World Cup Thomas Muller fall over himself. I don't think we'll see that again, will we?
He's left it for Götze. And Götze has provided a nice catch for one of the crowd in about row D. Yeah, it was him.
It's been a good show tonight, a good game. I think we've seen both teams, Nick Romano in the first half coming up with some great saves, and then the MLS All-Stars coming out in this second half and scoring 2 really good goals.
A night lit up by quality strikes right out of the top draw from Lewandowski and Bradley Wright Phillips, but it's Landon Donovan who has the game winner as we stand at the moment. For the All-Stars, potentially biggest ever win. They did beat the European champions elect Chelsea back in 2012, 3-2. This is Bayern Munich. Now then, Valeri. I should point out Bayern are actually playing with 10 at the moment, Taylor. Bastian Schweinsteiger left the field, straight down the tunnel to the locker room. And no replacement has been made. They're chanting Caleb Porter's name. And he is a victorious MLS All-Star coach. Caleb Porter and the MLS All-Stars have beaten Bayern Munich here by 2-1. Pep Guardiola didn't want the handshake. Neither do any of the Bayern coaching staff. And
Pep walked right up to Caleb Porter and waved him off.
well, his feelings were clear. The manner of some of the tackles left a bad taste in his mouth, but the game is over. The final whistle has gone. Caleb Porter is still looking to shake his hand, and I hope Pep Guardiola sees the error of his ways here. He's continuing to chip away at the referees. Yes, you're a Champions League winning coach. Yes, you've won many titles.
By the way, it's not Caleb Porter's fault.
No, it is not.
It's not Caleb Porter's fault. I have no problem if Pep wants to go up to Ozzy Alonso and have words with him, by the way. I don't have a problem with that, but it's not Caleb Porter's fault. It's not.
Well, this was where Caleb looked for the handshake and just the one finger wave off by Pep. Well, I don't like it, Taylor.
What we
like it at all.
I don't either, but what we don't know is if there was a conversation before.